Alrighty, welcome everyone. We're gonna give probably the next 4 minutes here to let people kind of join in. How you doing today, Caleb?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. It's been a really good day. Good Thursday.
Dude, did you know there's tornadoes happening around us?
No.
Yeah, I got a text from someone. They were like, "Hey," Dominique reached out. She's like, "Hey, you guys doing okay?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I hope no tornadoes affected you guys." I was like, "Tornadoes?" I was like, "We've had nothing."
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. But then again, in this remote world, we're inside most of the day, so I haven't had a chance to look at
I was
the
like,
sun.
"It was raining this morning, but nothing since then."
Yeah. My wife is actually going to be out of town, and so I woke up at like, I don't know, 6:30 and like walked her suitcase out in the rain and my slippers, so I got my slippers all wet. That's remote living right there. If you don't have your dedicated slippers, I don't know what you're doing.
I have my dedicated Crocs.
That counts, I guess.
I there's a lot of Croc hate. Okay, like I get it. People hate Crocs. I don't get why, but I got my Crocs.
Have you seen the Post Malone Crocs? I have a buddy who bought them.
No.
There's the Post Malone like Crocs, and like they were limited time only. He bought them like on the drop or whatever, just because it's Post Malone. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I never saw these.
You're not one of those people who puts those stupid buttons on their Crocs, though, right?
What are they? They're called something. I don't.
Hole blockers with random logos on it that look stupid.
Dude, I want to do it now just because you say that.
By the way, no hate to any of you. If you guys have those button things on the Crocs, I'm just a hater. People who wear them, I'm just a hater in general. So
I think they're called like giblets or something. Like there's a name for them. Because my little sister, being the trendy girl she is, she like has a bunch on her shoes, and all her friends will like swap them out and stuff.
See, that's what we did back in my day. That's what silly bands were.
Silly bands, yes. You had the dinosaurs. You had yes. That's what our equivalent was. Yes.
I think like it became a currency, man. Back when I was in middle school, I literally went to Costco with my parents. I bought it's like 1,000 pack for $10. I probably made $500 like a month just selling.
I used to do that.
That's where it all started. Yeah, that's where it all started, everybody. The reason why I started a business is I started selling silly bands to kids, and it took off after that. I used that revenue to build Growbot.
It just snowballed, right?
It just snowballed, exactly.
Yeah, dude. I used to do it with stickers because everyone at my school was like super into stickers. I was like, all right, I guess we're children, but whatever. So I bought like this 100-pack off Amazon, and I just sell them. I'd be like $1 a sticker, dude. It was. They were they were completely random. The Rick and Morty ones always sold the best, though. I never watched Rick and Morty, but I guess there's a lot of people who love Rick and Morty.
Oh, Rick and Morty's hilarious.
But I've never watched the show, but they were the ones that sold the fastest every time. Everyone would always ask me, "Hey, you have any Rick and Morty bands?" I'm like, or stickers, and I'm like, no, they're already gone. Like they went within the first week.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be watching this. I'm actually putting this in the chat right now. All right, everybody in the chat, what was a trend when you were a kid that everybody hopped on? An example would be either silly bands or like Beanie Babies, like etc. Like what was the trend? There's those little like Gigapets or whatever, like this
Oh,
McDonald's. They had like the little.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Were they Geopets? Is that what they were?
I'm trying to remember. I know you could get them in a Happy Meal and you'd try to get them all.
Yeah,
oh
like
my
you feed
God.
them and then you put them, or like what's the other Webkins? My little brother is
Webkins. That's what I was thinking of.
Club Penguin. Club Penguin
Oh
was
my gosh, I still remember my username from Club Penguin.
dude. My parents were tripping about that because, like, I mean, it really was a site where like kids would be chatting with each other. I mean, like, there were no barriers whatsoever. But I honestly, I just enjoyed like going to like the dance party or whatever it was.
I went to the dojos all the time. I would go to the like Target and buy the Club Penguin pack of cards so I could get the new moves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, speaking of trends, right? We're gonna go into this LinkedIn boot camp and just talk about certain ways to optimize your LinkedIn for success and really turn your own personal brand on LinkedIn into a bit of a landing page. And part of doing that is also being aware of different trends within not only your niche but just the business world in general. A lot of things we'll end up touching up on is AI and implementing AI into your strategies and your outreach, and those will come a little bit later. But when you're building out your LinkedIn profiles, you have to understand certain trends that not only everybody's talking about, but also your ideal client, like what resonates with them. AI is a pretty easy touching point right now because everybody's talking about AI, but the problem is nobody really talks about how to implement AI. So, I hear all the time, like, you need to implement AI into your business or you're going to fail and struggle and die and burn. And like, it might be true, but at the end of the day, like, they're not teaching you how to solve that problem. And if your answer is just to go to ChatGPT to write some marketing content, it's pretty, I don't know what to tell you. That's not the way to go. There's tons of different tools that integrate with each other alongside our own AI tool that we built before ChatGPT was even cool, Growbot. But we'll be talking about all of these different things as we go through this LinkedIn bootcamp. But that's why I started out with that question. What were trends that resonated with people back in the day? Because once you find that, you can turn it into a niche and end up becoming profitable in that way. So, Mikey, I'll let you take the lead here as we go through this LinkedIn bootcamp, and I'll just add my additional insights based off of our clientele and just what we've learned over the past 5 years, helping over 200 brands.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll throw the comments your way. I'll throw them up on screen as well, so that way you guys can see which ones we're reading. All right, so to get us started, if you've ever been on LinkedIn at any point in your life, you'll know that social selling on any platform is tough to master. Even for the most experienced people, the results, if you do things right, though, they won't be matched anywhere else. So that's why we kind of put together this boot camp. It's designed specifically for B2B salespeople, and we're going to be here about 45 minutes. Usually we kind of go an hour over, just to be honest with you guys. But it's all recorded, so feel free to come back, rewatch it, take any notes, email us, either of us, about any questions. All right, so think of this as a one-on-one as well. We're going to come up with a series of 2-on-1 trainings in the future to get a little more specific on the features of the platform more effectively. But for now, I'm just going to be covering a lot of topics in a short amount of time, more of an overview. So if you're ready to take your sales results to this next level, I'm ready to share with you the deets. All right, so these are kind of the key talking points we're going to be going over here today. Why LinkedIn, social selling on LinkedIn, how can social selling be used on LinkedIn, winning profile tips, things to keep in mind, how to prospect and sell on LinkedIn, and resources to consider. Now, in today's digital age, your online presence is more important than ever before. Potential employers or prospects will often do a quick Google search of your name before even considering replying or having a conversation with you. And your social media accounts will provide them with some very valuable insights into who you are, your personality, your character, how you care about yourself online, what you care about for your presence, what highlights and key features makes up who you are. So LinkedIn is one of the most important, and I would probably argue the most important platform for that, because it's important that you make yourself stand out in such a way where people are going to look at you and be able to take you seriously and also want to be able to engage with you. You can, if you're known for being funny, you want to throw jokes out there, but you also want to be careful that you're not overstimulating the jokes and you're never being serious, because people don't want to work with someone that's not serious. Now, everyone loves the funny person, But you also want to have a reputation. As Joe Raleigh said here, LinkedIn is no longer an online resume. It's your digital reputation. So you want to make sure that it holds up every value of who you are, whether it be an opinion, a stance, or just a funny joke you have. You always want to make sure it's up to date. You always want to make sure it speaks to who you are as a whole person. Mm-hmm. So LinkedIn is one of the world's largest professional networks with over 640 million users in more than 200 countries and regions. It's a very powerful platform for building these relationships, finding jobs, and even driving sales. So here are just some important statistics. I'm not going to read them all off, but I think some key ones to highlight here. Marketers see up to a 2 times higher conversion rate on LinkedIn. 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn drive business decisions. Companies that post weekly on LinkedIn see a 2 times higher engagement rate, which we're hiding that one a little bit. I can move us out of the way here so you guys can see that. So all this to say that when you're using LinkedIn, it is a serious force to consider. And so let's take it seriously. Let's learn about the strategies that we can use to deploy on here and make it the most effective.
And there are going to be some things that we're going to talk about throughout, not only this webinar, but also in future trainings as well. When you look at LinkedIn, right, you need to look at it from a different platform than other social media platforms that you're using, right? Instagram and Facebook, those are more to drive engagement on not primarily business functions, unless it's an advertisement. So most of the things that you see on Instagram and Facebook on the ad side, when you're scrolling through reels or just looking at posts and they start talking about things like maybe AI, or they're talking about a new product that they're selling online on the B2C realm. And even on B2B, a lot of them are just talking about courses and training similar to this right now. That's how they drive engagement to come over to these types of trainings. But LinkedIn is going to be the first place that your prospects are going to look at to see not only if you are a thought leader on the topics that you're talking about, but they also want to see that you're consistent and that you care. Yeah. And so when you use LinkedIn as the platform, you're not trying to post a bunch of funny, silly videos, that pertain to your business. That can stay on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. Yep. And primarily those videos that you see that actually have to do with B2B selling, they're always going to be advertisements trying to drive more traffic to something similar to this, like an intimate webinar or workshop. So those are strategies that you can use to bring people onto a B2B platform. But for the most part, Instagram and Facebook isn't where you're going to want to go to bring more clients on like that. You're going to want to use that to bring them to the trainings to then talk about your thought leadership. And that's where that starts on, is LinkedIn. Most of the people that I talk to every single day, the first thing they say is, I was scrolling through your LinkedIn and I noticed that you're a big Star Wars nerd. You talked about Salesforce and how it, integrates into your love for Star Wars. And we'll talk about that and how your profile should look further on into this webinar. But that's important because people are looking at your LinkedIn more than they're looking at your website. About 80% of people that go onto your website have already done research on your product or your service, whatever you're selling. And most of that research starts on LinkedIn because they want to know your experience. They want to see who you've worked with. And LinkedIn is an amazing place to post all of your success stories on your company page, while your personal brand and personal page is going to be talking about things that actually resonate with your ideal client and how your brand and personal brand relates to that. It's a great way to build a community, very similar to like if you were going to an in-person event and shaking some hands. It's the best way for them to feel like they're getting to know you on a business level, but you should also incorporate some personal things as well. So as we're going through this webinar, that's what we're going to talk about, which leads into the actual B2B selling on LinkedIn and its effectiveness and how to properly do that. So Mikey, you can go through.
Yeah, I appreciate the insight. So LinkedIn is a professional networking site, obviously, with over 560 million users worldwide. So it's a prime platform for B2B selling. It is probably the most effective, and I will argue it is the most effective in my opinion. Some people may have it differently. This is my opinion. We've been doing it for 5 years now. I've been here at this company for 3 years. This is what we choose to do because we do believe that it works the best. So when you do it right, B2B selling on LinkedIn will be extremely effective. It's going to be an effective way to reach your target market and close these deals easily. You can reach large and targeted audiences. You can build your trust and credibility, and you can generate leads all at the same time. So if you're looking for this effective way to reach your target market and grow your business, B2B selling on LinkedIn is definitely something worth considering. So social selling, what is it? It's the practice of using social media to build relationships and just close sales in general. Now, in a world where nearly everyone is online, social selling provides an efficient and effective way to reach these potential customers. And LinkedIn is the perfect platform for social selling, like I just said. Thanks to its large user base, gives it a lot of credibility. People are always updating their own information. You don't have to worry about, is this outdated? Because the person is literally updating it themselves. Now, LinkedIn also allows you to connect with these potential customers and clients. You can share your expertise. You can build the trust and credibility. And when it's all done correctly, social selling can be a very powerful tool for closing these deals.
And if you want to learn how to do social selling correctly, we're going to have a workshop where we're literally going to go through all the strategies that we've been building over the past 5 years, and also, messages that we've sent to people. We've battle tested over 5,000 different scripts, and created tons of different strategies and tested every single one of them. So we have all the data that we need to understand what is most effective, not only for specific industries, but also the platform of LinkedIn itself. The days of reaching out to your prospect just on LinkedIn and saying, I have this case study about this company that I worked with that's similar to the company that you work for or that you own, and we can solve these problems because that company had this problem, and I'm assuming that you still have that problem. Like, that just doesn't work anymore, because as Michael has actually said a couple of times, and I'm going to steal this term that he's coined because I think it's a very insightful term. There's a currency on attention. And so what you're using social selling for is getting that attention and building out that thought leadership so that people know, like, okay, this guy's legit. He knows what he's doing in this industry. But that doesn't mean you need to go directly to cold DMing them on LinkedIn and saying, hey, this is what I do. You've seen I'm a thought leader and I can help solve your problems, because everybody's doing that on LinkedIn. It's very conversational. You need to start connecting with these people and building relationships and giving value every step of the way. And we have a strategy that not only allows you to just provide value in all of these conversations that you're having, but through providing these values, it could be like an ebook, it could be a video, it could be a link to something that's super important to you. We have ways of collecting all of their information slowly over time and using inbound marketing tactics alongside your outbound prospecting. So as you're building these relationships on LinkedIn, every time you're posting something, every time you're having a conversation with somebody, you're sending them something of value that would relate and matter to them. And they get to opt in to viewing those documents that you're sending them. But we're not just going to give you the document without something in return, right? That's where social selling is beautiful. I'm going to give you a link to a document that's going to solve a lot of your problems, and you're going to give me your name and email to access that document. And then I'm allowed to then give you even more value. I'm not trying to book a meeting right away. I'm just trying to give you as much value as possible. And I promise you, when you start implementing these types of strategies, you're going to realize that people will start coming to you almost like you just send an advertisement and it's inbound. So as we're talking about social selling and what kind of posts that you need to post, we're going to really start diving into the exact strategy to go into doing that. This is just an overview of what you need to be doing, but we're going to actually have a workshop that's going to dive in deeper, and it's going to be really intimate. We're going to have one-on-one conversations, and it's going to be really fun.
Yeah. Love it. So building off of what Caleb just said, by building these relationships and engaging with these potential customers on the site, you guys can then generate leads and drive sales. However, simply just having this presence on LinkedIn, it's just not enough. So it's not enough to succeed at social selling. So to be effective sales professionals, you guys need to use the strategies that are specifically designed for the platform. So for example, you guys need to focus on creating high quality content that is tailored to your target audience. Also, always make sure to participate in these relevant LinkedIn groups, actively connect with other users, and by using these ideas and even other strategies, because there's more that work, you guys will be able to maximize your chances of success when selling on LinkedIn. We tell you that you can do this because we've done it, and we've done it for clients. So we know that you can do this. Now, if you need help, we're more than happy to help you, but we know that this can be achieved. So building a professional brand, this is a really important step. So this professional networking site called LinkedIn provides an excellent opportunity. It provides the opportunity to be able to build your brand and expand your network, right? So by creating a profile that highlights your skills and experience, you can attract the attention of these potential employers, clients, or just business partners. You also are offered a number of features that can help you, further promote your brand. For example, you can join relevant groups, participate in discussions, post articles on your profile. By doing these things and taking advantage of these very simple practices, you can position yourself as an expert in your field and build that strong professional brand. So just like the slide says here, and again, I'll move me and Caleb out of the way so that way you guys can see all the points we're going to make here. Be consistent, make connections, showcase your work, be active and engaging. Start with a strong profile. Like you want to make sure you get all these steps done. And I'm not going to say it's super easy, but that's why we're here to help you. We're here to help you get through these steps and make sure that everything happens. All right, to further elaborate on this, in today's competitive marketplace, it's more important than ever that you stand out from the crowd. You want to break through the noise. So one way to do this is to develop this personal brand. A personal brand is just a sum of who you are as a professional, your values, judgment, expertise, and experiences. And you always want to throw in your personality. If you're not personal in there, people will never relate to you and you're never going to get anywhere. So you want to make sure you're relatable in everything that you're doing while also still being yourself. So when you're known for your integrity, your insight, or your sense of humor, it's easy to build that trust and attract these potential customers, clients, business partners, whatever it may be. In addition, these strong personal brands that you guys create, this will help you advance your career, reach whatever goals you want to have. So if you're looking to take your career to the next level, start by developing this personal brand. And most importantly, just be authentic with who you are. You don't want to over exaggerate. You want to make sure you're importantly highlighting who you are when, not exactly the experiences you've done, because this is not the place for it, but still give background into who you are as a person and what you can do. So we're going to kind of walk you through that more and more and what we mean by that. So LinkedIn profile tips for sales. So one of the more common mistakes is using LinkedIn as a platform to boast about your sales skills. Like I just said, this is not the place for that. Your LinkedIn profile is not the place to brag about how many deals you've closed or how much money you've made for the company. So rather, you need to make sure that it is a way that you can connect with other professionals and share this information, share valuable information. So if you fill your profile with self-promotional content, you're going to turn off potential connections. They're not going to want to connect with you. So instead, you need to focus on providing value by sharing your expertise and your insights. By taking this approach, you'll be way more likely to attract the attention of potential employers or clients. And that's what LinkedIn is really for. So just like Caleb was saying earlier, make sure you're not doing all promotional content. If you speak only about yourself and about your company, no one is going to want to connect with you. No one wants to talk to the guy who only talks about himself the entire time, right? Like that's the worst person to have a conversation with. He never stops talking about himself. You want to make sure you're bouncing the conversation between you and the other person. Now, before we move on to the next step here, does anyone have any questions for me or Caleb to answer? I'm going to pop this up so that way you guys can see it.
And as we're waiting for these questions, touching back up on all the slides so far, it really does depend on what your goal is on LinkedIn. So if you're trying to sell your product and you're trying to build your book of business on LinkedIn, this is what's going to be the most helpful for you. And I know we're only giving an overview because there's a lot of things to cover. And on every single slide, we could probably talk about actual strategies for an hour per slide, because this is what we've been doing. And this is, our life, our life right now. And it's been very interesting, very fun to be able to battle test all these different things. And trust me, over the last, 5 to 7 years, there have been challenges and we've had to keep battle testing and keep optimizing these approaches. But now, we finally come up with, various solutions that will actually help you not only build further connections and start getting people to work for you in the sense of building referrals and building your network out, but we're also teaching you how to reach out to somebody cold without the overall intent of like, I need to get this meeting. Like if there are BDRs and BDEs and salespeople on this slide, I highly recommend that when you're going into having conversations on LinkedIn, you need to treat it more like you're at an event and you're meeting new people. Like the first thing that you're going to talk about is not going to be yourself. You're going to see somebody's name tag, right? And you're going to be like, oh, wow, you work for X next company? Like, what's that about? Like, what do you do? Like, you're trying to build rapport and all of these different conversations that you're having, whether it's a discovery call or it's an event that you're going to. Think about every time you reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, it's rapport building. And how do you do that? The first thing you do is you try to relate to your prospects. So as you're trying to build rapport and say, oh my gosh, you do this, that's really cool. I have a brother that also works in this space. Or you live in Colorado. I was from there. I lived there till I was about 12 years old. Do you ever go to the Rocky Mountains? Like I used to go there every weekend. I used to go fishing at Grand Lake every single weekend, like things like that. So as you're starting to build these conversations and relationships, people are going to start thinking, okay, like this is kind of a nice dude. Let me check his LinkedIn profile. Okay. Here's a course about, low reply rate. I have a bad reply rate. Let me click on that course, which, by the way, go onto my LinkedIn. You can click on that. We have a bunch of battle tested scripts that you can use right now for free. No charge needed. You'll just be able to go through there. And I promise you, using those scripts that we've built out is going to change your game when it comes to reaching out to people cold and give you some ideas of what to say. But if you guys have any questions about that, I know I've been talking about some of these strategies on connecting with a lot of your prospects to then book meetings and close more sales. But I'm open to answering any questions you have so far about the specific tactics that are used. So
I see one kind of question that maybe this is better if you answer me the first part or both of them, up to you. So the person said, how long have you been social selling? Does it work in every single industry?
That's a really good question. So I've been practicing the social selling tactics that we're talking about since I essentially started on LinkedIn about 6 years ago. The world has changed on LinkedIn. So the way that you post, it has definitely changed. If you're going to talk about promotional content, you should keep that on your company page and then repost what you've put on your company page to your own profile. And then the post that you need to do for yourself is, maybe have a couple of different, questions that you're asking your audience that they can actually, pull for, like have engaging conversations on LinkedIn on your personal profile, post some things about yourself, and then post some things about what your company has done and all those different things. But how long have I been social selling? About 6 years. There's a bunch of different tactics that you can use, and it's always ever evolving. And does it work in every industry? And the answer is no, it does not. There are some industries, especially if you are in the B2C and e-commerce space, social selling, what you're going to try to use it is to get to people to more promotional content, kind of like this webinar. So there is a strategy there. If you're trying to actually sell a product on LinkedIn, so like let's say you're trying to sell some shoes, right? You're a shoe e-commerce company and you're trying to sell some shoes. I do not recommend you going to people's DMs and saying, hey, I just created these new shoes. It's $50 per shoe, free shipping. You should go to my e-commerce website and check it out. You will get banned for doing that. First of all, LinkedIn is not a fan of you directly selling products on the platform. However, if you're in the B2B or tech world or something like that, you could reach out to people and say, I've been building this platform. I'd really love some feedback on it. You can check out my website here. And that's just an example. But to answer your question, no, it doesn't work for every single industry, especially, depending on how you're trying to sell. If you are in B2C and D2C and you're selling shoes, your goal is not going to be selling the shoes on your platform. Your goal is to show people all the new products you've created. Like, hey, look at this new design of shoe that I've created. You can go onto the website right now and take a look at it and things like that. Like, you want to drive people to your website and also talk about some successes you've been having. Like, we just got a new partner that's selling our shoes at Dick's Sporting Goods. Super pumped and excited for this opportunity. Another thing could be we just partnered up with this really cool shoe sourcing company. So we're going to be able to sell our shoes for a lot less. We've partnered with Post Malone to make our Post Malone Crocs, as we mentioned in the beginning. So you want to use LinkedIn to show, hey, this is all the cool stuff that we're doing with this shoe, and this is how we differentiate ourselves. But never try to actually sell the product on LinkedIn. It's not going to bode well for you. But good question.
Yeah, appreciate the insight. Got some insightful questions here today. All right. So LinkedIn headlines. So your LinkedIn headline is one of the first things that people are going to see when they visit your profile. So in just a few words, it has a very strong potential to make a good impression. So, you want to encourage people to learn more about you, right? So what makes a great LinkedIn headline? There's no perfect formula, right? Because it's going to be different for everyone, but there's a few elements that can help you ensure that your headline makes a positive impact. Always make sure to avoid jargon or buzzwords and stick to language that's easily understood. You want to target people at a 6th grade reading level. That's what you want to leave it at. You don't want to be too confusing. You don't want to be too dumbed down. So find that middle ground, 6th to 7th grade. So really easy formula here, right on screen. Your title, then your years of experience serving in whatever industry or vertical you're in. Then after that, your unique strength or your value prop. Very easy to do. This is a very templated version, right? This is a very simple formula for you to use. Once you do this, don't hit save. Allow yourself to look at it, break it back down, And let's go to the next one. Now, take what you have right there at face value, right? You have the factual stuff down. Now, add your personality to it. Stuff like this. A witty wordsmith, which again, I'll move us out of the way here. A witty wordsmith who loves helping tech startups. Ghostwriter and content strategist. Avid traveler and coffee lover. Business development at a tech startup. Graphic design maven with a passion for fashion. I always say it in every single one of these. I absolutely love if you can rhyme it. I think it's fantastic. It shows you cared enough to take some time to think about it. So being able to throw your personality in this stuff is going to go very far. It's going to show people that you're an authentic person, someone they can relate to. And that's what you want to do with your brand, especially when it comes to social selling. So here's just some more headline examples. Another thing I would say is just be clear and concise. Use very simple language, like I just said, 6th to 7th grade reading level. By following this small formula, you can write these headlines that are going to stand out. Right? You want to attract the right attention. You don't want to attract attention for the wrong reasons. If you misspell a really easy word, people are probably going to give you attention, but for the wrong reasons. So the About Me section. So your LinkedIn profile is like your digital resume. It's one of the first places your prospects will look to learn more about you. So that's why it's super important to make this great first impression. So one way to do that is by making this engaging, kind of keyword-rich summary about yourself. Now, your About Me section, I would always start by introducing yourself, briefly mentioning your current offering, most recent experience, results, blah, blah, blah. Then highlight your key strengths, your accomplishments. Don't be boastful, but just highlight them. So be sure to use specific examples and persuasive language. So sell yourself as the best partner for your ideal client. Also, always end with a call to action. Invite your reader by connecting with, or invite them to connect with you to learn more about your work, whatever your call to action would be there. So by taking the time to create this summary, you'll be another step closer to landing that target audience. Now, in mine, I have my email, my phone number, my calendar link. I want to give that person as many opportunities as they can to follow up with me because I want to be able to take that conversation to the next step. So as many ways as you can, put yourself out there to follow up with that person and give them a way to connect with you. I would advise you to put as many as you can in there. If it's more than mine, if it's less than mine, that's okay, but put something in there. All right, and here's a good example. Again, I will move us out of the way here for this. So your LinkedIn About Me section is probably one of the more important parts of your profile. I'd argue it's in your top 3. So you want to make sure that it conveys your personal story very compelling, in a compelling way. So there are several elements to consider when crafting this part of your profile. Firstly, give an overview of yourself and why you do what you do. You can include information on your current job or profession and any hobbies or interests that make up who you are. Also, share stories from your past that have influenced where you are today. You know, for example, if a particular experience like pushed you toward entering whatever field you're in right now or start a business, share that. Also, don't forget to include a call to action, whether it's just encouraging employers to contact you for a job opportunities or just fostering relationships with your ideal clients. You know, always provide a way for others to connect with you. I would also always just provide some detail about what makes you unique. This is kind of your opportunity to demonstrate your skills, your expertise, and your accomplishments in a relatable manner. Now, remember, we're not embellishing all this. We're still going to be relatable when we're talking about all this. So describe what makes you stand out from other professionals in your field, industry, or why people should just, work with you rather than someone else. So remember, About Me section. It's the perfect place on LinkedIn to show off who you are as a person and a professional. So make sure it reflects the best version of you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
About the section as well, that I just wanted to add real quick is, when you build out your profile, yes, you want to make sure that you're relatable. You want to talk about some of your experiences and what differentiates yourself, but you also want to give people calls to actions and opportunities to interact with your brand outside of LinkedIn. And so if you look at my profile, right, if you take a look at my profile, you'll see, my profile picture. I give a funny couple of one-liners that just talk about what I do. I co-founded this company. I'm a pickleball aficionado and I love cheesecake, right? The next thing that I bring up is, the scripts that we've battle tested to help reply rate. And so I have a call to action that is like low reply rate ? Check this out. And then on your about info, as you're explaining some things that you do, create some opportunities to also give your prospects to take a look at your information and content. So you can also add, that link, outside of your featured page, but on your about info and say, as you're talking about how you differentiate, say, hey, if you're, looking on different strategies to optimize your B2B, outreach on LinkedIn, click this here, right? Like click my free document, and always associate that document with some type of landing page to collect their information, right? We're giving free value, but in exchange, instead of money, I want your information as well. So then I can also provide you even more resources and information, and you opt in to that warm nurture sequence. So start focusing on turning your LinkedIn profile into more of a landing page, as well as starting to show them, different things that you do on your About Me info. So it's about you, but what is also about you is the content you've created, and you want to share that with them and give them as many opportunities to actually check out that content and that thought leadership as they go down.
100%. Appreciate the insight. So first, when it comes to these profile pictures, use a professional headshot, no selfies, no vacation photos. Show off your best side. Big, genuine smile. Make eye contact with the camera. Also remember to pick a neutral background. I think a lot of times I see people choose this background that's A, unprofessional, and B, it just draws unnecessary attention away from them. Also, always ensure that it's edited. Make sure it's just a technical qualities up there. You don't want it to be pixelated. Honestly, if I see someone trying to connect with me and their pictures pop, even the slightest bit pixelated, I'm going to assume that that is a stolen picture and it'd be a fake profile, right? I mean, it's the assumption that people are going to make. So you want to make sure that it's a clear photo of you. Don't pull some wild photo from another picture and you're like, oh, this looks good. Like, it's just not going to look good. You're going to look like this middle picture here. So let's start by looking at some of the most common profile mistakes, profile picture mistakes that I see. So first off, don't just settle for a selfie. A good LinkedIn profile picture should look professional and polished. So take the time to pose for a nice photo, get in front of, that neutral background. Don't let it distract from your face. It's not what you want to do here. Also, don't use any filters. I would never use a filter. It's going to give you the wrong, that wrong attention, and it's going to take away from your credibility. Also, consider your vertical. Consider who you're reaching out to when you're dressing for these pictures. So here are a few examples of what not to do when it comes to taking your LinkedIn profile picture. So on the right, we have the overly casual look. This is where someone forgets that this is going to be their profile picture and this is not Facebook. So again, this is what Kayla was talking about a little bit earlier, understanding the social media that you're on. For Instagram or for Facebook, this might be okay. This would be funny. This is your own personal network. That is different than LinkedIn. So make sure we consider both those things. So we also have the totally unprepared look. This includes wearing bright colors like neon yellow or a hot pink or neon green, whatever it may be, or just having a messy room or a cluttered background in the actual photo. So also there's the I'm too cool for this look. This is when someone takes a photo of themselves, sunglasses on, smirk right across your face. It can be kind of off-putting for these potential prospects or employers and will not make you stand out. Again, it won't make you stand out in a good way. It's going to make you stand out in a bad way. You don't want that to happen, quite frankly. So remember, take it a professional photo. It doesn't have to be professionally done. Your cameras are probably pretty good on your phone. So I'm going to go with just take a nice photo, have a neutral background, allow it to speak for you. I will caveat this with the fact that if your brand is meant to be playful or target cat lovers, you may have some leeway in bringing your cat into frame. But otherwise, think about your audience. Think about your vertical. Think about who you're reaching out to. All right, your LinkedIn featured section. So this is a pretty good one. I see a lot of people that don't utilize this. And if you had to ask me, I would say this is what I see most people fail to do in their LinkedIn profiles. Use the featured section. No one does it. It's a great way for you to stand out and get your work in front of people. So if you've ever wondered, what is the featured section on LinkedIn? I'm going to give you a couple of reasons as to why this tool can be pretty beneficial, even for social selling, but also just as a tool in general for you to use. So reason one, the featured section allows you to highlight content that is specific to your industry or field of expertise. This makes it easier for potential employers and clients to find relevant information about what you do and how you can help them. Reason two, you can showcase your best work in the featured section. It just helps visually demonstrate your skills and your capabilities. This will give people the idea or a better idea of, what they can expect from working with you. Most people will not use this. Again, like I said, like most people won't use this. And this is a great way for you to stand out amongst other people. And me and Caleb use this to the fullest extent. We want to make sure that everyone knows who we are. We want people to see all the work that we do, because we proudly do a lot of this work. So we want to make sure people see it. Like, hey, if you want to work with us, this is what we can do. This is our potential. So we want to show off our best side, obviously. And I would say you guys need to all make sure you're using it and doing it the same way.
And one thing that we're implementing with those as well very soon is back when LinkedIn social selling was kind of starting out, it was good enough to be able to build out, those blog posts, informational posts, and just send it, those posts all the way to the website.
Yeah.
The issue, though, at the same time, right, is when you just bring people over to the website where the blog was created, there's no real additional step that they need to take. Like, they can click on it and look at your information, and you can backlink everything to whatever you want. But what we're realizing, in this digital age, especially how AI, has transformed things, is it's really essential to bring everybody to a specific landing page. Anytime they click on that information that they were interested enough to click on it to learn more about it, the next step is to get them onto a landing page to unlock the ability to access that document. And these are tactics that I've learned over the years in inbound marketing, right? If you're a marketer watching this, you know this very well. You're bringing people over, you're garnering attention, and you want to get people onto your email list as quick as possible. So if it's B2C, you may be offering a discount code. If it's B2B, right, then you're trying to get people to sign that contact form. So why not mitigate the step of just bringing them to the website, and then they click off the blog post, they look at your website, and then they just leave. There's no real incentive to give their information, not really. You get that information right off the rip because they're already interested in learning more. And if they're interested for real, they're going to put their email in, because why not? They might even put a Hotmail email in there, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're getting that information. So then you can automate steps to continue nurturing them no matter what step they took.
Yeah. That's some free advice right there, let me tell you. So LinkedIn recommendations. I see a lot of people who don't use this and who honestly don't have any or haven't given any. I would ask your current clients, be like, hey, I've been working for X amount of time. I think we've delivered whatever, blah, blah, blah. Reach out to them. Just ask for a recommendation. Like, people will happily do it. If you're doing good work and you're proud of the work you're doing, reach out, ask people to give you a recommendation. You want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best spotlight. So this is a really easy way to do it. Now, when on LinkedIn you receive one, you please turn it on. When you receive it, you have to put it on your profile yourself. You just have to approve it, basically. But it's very simple to do. And it goes a long way. It goes towards that credibility and that trust, right? Because you're allowing other people to see, hey, I've worked with X person. They liked what I did, or I worked alongside or worked for, all these things matter. All right, how to prospect on LinkedIn. So one of the most effective ways to prospect for potential customers is through LinkedIn. All right, how? By building this comprehensive profile, this will help you or help these clients, accurately understand who you are. And you want it to reflect your personal brand. So you can use the search function to find potential customers who match your ideal target market. It's a very easy way to do that. Once you have identified the prospects, it's important to start engaging with them by sending personalized messages. That'll help you start the conversation and build the rapport with the prospects, but you can also engage with them further by liking and commenting on their posts, as well as sharing content they might find interesting or informative. Lastly, it is essential to follow up with your initial conversations with prospects. A lot of the times, this is where I see people fall short. They're not able to follow up, right? They forget, they have too much going on. It falls too far in the inbox, whatever it may be. You want to make sure that you're following up with people. That is where you're going to lose majority of your clients, or your majority of your clients, majority of your deals. Like, a lot of people are going to fall through the cracks that way. So you have to make sure that you're stepping up and allowing yourself to follow up with these people. If you need help with that, reach out. We have plenty of ways we can help you.
Yeah. And to expound upon that as well, right? People are inherently forgetful, especially if, pretend like if you're reaching out to somebody cold, they don't really know you, right? And so all the things that we've talked about before, this prospecting side of the webinar, has been showing your thought leadership through LinkedIn and building out your profile in a way that not only captures leads through information that they might be interested in, but also positioning yourself as that thought leader. And so that's a very firm foundation that you can build upon while now you're reaching out to people cold and actually having conversations with them. And so when you're reaching out to people cold, and let's say your profile is fully optimized, it's perfect, it's the best profile that you're going to have at this current stage in your business. The next thing that you're going to be doing when you're prospecting is, first of all, understand who you're talking to. Like, is this someone that would resonate with the things that you've been talking about, business-wise and personally? Like, are you relatable? And that's what we've been talking about this whole time. But as you're reaching out to all of these different people, you want to build a framework that's more conversational, that also gives you the opportunity to just build a conversation outside of work. Like, you already have your profile optimized, you already know the person that you're reaching out to is the perfect client. So now let's have a conversation about just things that maybe they would resonate to, and then you can bleed in work and what you do into that conversation. It's going to bode a lot well for you. And then when it comes to follow up, here's the thing. I mean, I've been doing sales for almost 10 years now, and salespeople in general, and I think people in general are just inherently forgetful. We're inherently forgetful. And so having some kind of tool that at least reminds you to follow up is going to be super successful for you, because in the prospects you're reaching out to, even if you start out having a bomb conversation about things that you're both passionate about, it's going to fall through the cracks, and they're going to forget that conversation in the next 2 days. I mean, they're going to be like, oh, wait, who's this guy again? Like, I don't really know who this is. So it's really important to build those steps to be able to follow up with people. And we just so happen to have a system that we built that helps you do that on not just email or LinkedIn, but also using text message, being able to call people, and doing all those other things that are really essential for the sales process. So then these people don't fall through the cracks. You don't fall to the bottom of their inbox, because it's going to take about 7 to 8 messages sometimes just to get them interested in talking to you. And so if you don't have a way to follow up with these people in a creative and, I don't want to just say automated, but like in a creative way that also automates, just the reminder of following up with them. If you don't have that, even if they were the perfect client and they would have worked with you, they're not going to, because it just fell through the cracks. And then you just become a pesky salesperson when you reach out 3 weeks later and say, oh my gosh, I forgot to follow up. Like, you use those words, it's over. And that's just the case.
Yeah. So I see one question here that I like. What are the biggest mistakes you see people make on their profiles?
Oh man, I think we can both kind of chip into this one. I mean, the biggest mistake that I think people would put on, their profiles is a collection of things. If you don't even take the time to put in your LinkedIn banner, or just, explain a little bit about what you do in your profile, and you just use it as that resume. Like, I see people that just have their profile picture, their work experience. It explains, and sometimes it doesn't even explain what they did for that job. It just says, yeah, I worked for this company for 2 years or 6 months. It's very bare, very blank. The about me info, you can tell they put it on ChatGPT, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then the about info, when it says like their name, like if it's like, my name is Caleb Sutton. If you put in your about info, Caleb Sutton is an esteemed co-founder of Growbot Lead Automation. He's been a part of building over 200 different brands over the past 4 years, and has a platform with over 1,100 people using it every single day, and all these different things, right? Like, why would you introduce yourself as Caleb Sutton like you're talking about Caleb Sutton? It's almost like you're interviewing yourself. So there's that. Obviously, the cheesy profile pictures where like somebody, I mean, it's kind of like what my grandma does with her, Facebook. It's like, you see that? So
don't do that, please.
Those are a couple different things. What about you?
I personally, I already said mine. I think 100% it's people who don't use the About Me section, or people who don't use the Featured section. Those are two sections I see go underutilized quite a bit. But even recommendations, I would say a lot of people are missing out on the power that it has to speak to your potential, to speak to your expertise, to speak to your experience. When you don't have those kinds of things, it's kind of hard to back up what you're doing, right? So I think that I see a lot of people who don't use it. And I feel bad for them, to be completely honest, because they're missing out on so much opportunity there to give themselves credibility and show off their best work in the same place. So I think that's what I see most people fall short of when they don't use those featured sections. I honestly think, okay, have they done any of the work? So as soon as you're able to get that featured section out there, if I see anyone ever using it, I'm like, okay, this person cares because they did enough research to figure out how to use it, how to optimize it. But I also think headlines are a very big way to speak first impressions onto someone. So people who utilize those in a good way, I kind of give them a kudos. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Like, I like to see you're kind of being creative with it. You know, you throw in a Star Wars joke in there, an Office joke in there, a Friends joke in there, whatever you want to do. You know, being able to do that shows you care, right? And I love to work with people who care about how they're perceived, what their brand says about them. All those things personally make a big difference to me and who I work with. So those are kind of the mistakes that I see. People who don't use featured section, headlines about me, whatever it may be. Those are my kind of things that I would say a lot of people miss the mark on. Mm-hmm. All right. Sales Navigator, how to use it. There are 3 versions. Sales Navigator Core is the basic subscription tier, which provides you access to sales intelligence like profiles, lists, and insights. Also allows you to connect and collaborate with your team using the Team Link feature. You can create searches and lists, view Salesforce records and Sales Nav, and schedule emails with the auto send feature. You can even get notifications on the newsletters, which I think is pretty cool. Now, Sales Navigator Advanced Plus, Sales Navigator Advanced, I'm sorry, skipped one there. Adds just some more powerful features to help teams work more effectively together. It also includes shared lists, so you guys can collaborate, build contact lists as a team, buyer intent alerts for gaining insight into a company's interests in your product or solution, smart links so you guys can package content in a single link and track engagement, embedding profile integrations with the Snap functionality across your sales tech stack completely, and CRM integration with Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics 365, and HubSpot as well. Now to get on the third and biggest one, Sales Navigator Advanced Plus. So this is the highest subscription tier, supporting the enterprise grade functionality. So it includes all of the features of Sales Navigator Advanced, as well as additional features that integrate CRM information into Sales Nav and push Sales Navigator information into your CRM. So this includes like auto saving these relevant leads from your CRM, viewing opportunity information in Sales Navigator, creating leads and contacts in your CRM directly from Sales Navigator. Data validation to flag out-of-date records, ROI reporting to measure revenue impact, and some more features. So, and administrators will have access to a sandbox environment for testing purposes, which I think is pretty cool. But I would say for majority of you, like 90% of you, you will likely not need anything beyond the core services that it costs just $79.99 a month and has 1 month free trial for you to test it out. I do not see many people needing anything beyond that. All right, conducting research. So in the B2B realm, conducting research on LinkedIn can be especially valuable. By using keyword searches and groups, you can target businesses in your industry and learn more about their challenges and their current needs. So you can also, the company pages are going to help you understand the size of the organizations you want to be targeting. So by reading these relevant articles through the Pulse using Sales Nav, you can stay up to date on the trends in that field. So also, we need to work on, and this is kind of where we speak to in the workshop, identifying influencers. What allows you to see what thought leaders are saying, what topics are kind of buzzing in your industry. With all this information, it'll help you make informed decisions when you're marketing your products or your services. So with a better understanding of your target market's wants and needs, you can create a more tailored experience and better serve them. Ultimately, this research will all just help you increase your sales and grow your business. As Caleb said earlier, this is LinkedIn. This is not Facebook. This is not Instagram. So we need to make sure we're targeting people correctly. And we also need to make sure that we're tailoring our contents to speak to those people. Now, I also want to touch on the fact that if you're doing that, I often say the 4-1-1 rule is a very good rule to follow. Essentially, what it means is if you have one piece of promotional content, make sure you have 4 to 5 pieces in there that aren't self-promotional. Repost someone else's content, hype someone else up, whatever it may be, right? You want to be supporting other people. If you only talk about yourself, like I said earlier, no one's going to want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to the guy who only talks about himself. So make sure you're targeting your audience correctly. All right, how to sell on LinkedIn. So when it comes to selling on LinkedIn, building relationships is key. The other day, I was trying to make a connection with a potential customer, and instead of sending this generic message that I send a majority of people, took a few more minutes, just went ahead and created a little message for him. He grew up in Florida. I asked him if he liked Cocoa Beach or Daytona Beach better. Personally, if you don't say Cocoa Beach, you're just wrong. So I'm glad he agreed with me on that one. Daytona Beach is just a little much for me. And just by doing this, I was able to kind of put a little more friendly face on the pitch. And, because I was able to do that, I got into a Google Meet. We were able to just talk for a little bit, have a good conversation, and I was able to build a relationship off that. Now, because I already built that trust and credibility and we have a relationship, now it's easier for me to provide this informative content without it coming off super salesy. It looks like I just care. And as soon as he sees that I'm a good resource for all this stuff, he's going to come to me. He's going to want to know, okay, what else do you have to say? Like, obviously that worked. What else do you have to say? So LinkedIn can be a very effective way to sell your products and your services, but you also need to make sure that if you're not coming across too salesy, because if you do, it would cost you these potential customers. You don't want to come across as salesy. You want to be informative, helpful, relatable. As a continuation, everyone on LinkedIn is looking for something different. So if you want to make the most of your presence on the platform, you need to be clear about what it is you have to offer. For example, say you're a software consultant that works with CPA firms. Rather than just posting these general updates about your products or your services all the time, think about who your target audience is and tailor each of these posts to that specific group and their biggest pain points. If you become a solid resource, like I just said, for their problems, they will eventually start to pay attention to what you're sharing and begin to engage, reshare, and reach out. Also, once you've made the connection with someone on LinkedIn, I would again encourage you to make sure that take the conversation off the platform. Having an in-depth conversation about your products or your services over a video, email, or a phone call, it's just going to help these potential customers get a better understanding of what it is that you have to offer. This is often the best way to show your expertise and help customers make that informed decision. As Caleb was saying earlier, you want to make sure that your platform speaks to you, and you want to make sure you get off this platform, though. You don't want to be on LinkedIn. You're never going to sell on LinkedIn. That's not how this works. You cannot directly sell. It will never, never, never work. A, it turns people off. No one wants to be sold to. And B, it's just not allowed. So you want to make sure that when you're reaching out to these people, you're providing value. If you provide no value, they have no reason to connect with you. So you want to make sure that there's a give and take in this relationship, right? So find that balance, find what works for you, continue to do it. All right. So social selling on LinkedIn can be a great way to engage with your audience and build these relationships. For example, let's say you run an executive coaching firm. You can use LinkedIn polling to ask your connections interesting questions about their career path, maybe what challenges they're facing in their industry, or how they stay motivated every day. By doing this and starting that conversation, you get to know your connections just a little bit better. So you can also use LinkedIn Live to host these video broadcasts, just like we're doing now. This allows you to kind of give advice, answer questions live, interact with your followers in real time. I would also encourage you heavily to utilize listicle posts, break down these complex topics into a very easy to read format. That's going to help engage your audience. By sharing these insights, you can still position yourself as a thought leader and build trust with your connections. And then you're also already social selling on LinkedIn when you're doing this. You can create this meaningful relationship with your followers and drive real business results while still bringing value to everyone. So as a continuation of that, it's also important that you find what works for you, find what works for your audience, help them understand your opportunity that exists, and it can help them improve their results, their business, their revenue, or life. So not all your posts will lead to next steps, demos, or even closed deals, but everyone should try to keep their ideal clients. And you want to help them improve their lives, right? You want to increase their knowledge, their understanding. You want to help them reach their goals. That should be the end goal for everything. Now, for many of you, you'll be able to walk away and take everything I share with you today and implement it, be consistent, while others, you're going to struggle on the technical side or creative sides. Either way, we're all going to struggle, and we just don't have enough time to do it. So if you need help with any of the following things listed out here, which again, I will move me out of the way so you can kind of see this list here, from profile, copywriting, content creation, graphic design, post management, community engagement, advertising, campaign planning, target research, target outreach, whatever it may be, we are here to help you. Now, we will, and I'll let Kayla speak to this, we are going to make a workshop here soon. So if you want to get involved, definitely reach out to us about it. Also, if you want the ebook, it is the QR code on the bottom right. That is an ebook that I published about 2 months ago. Super happy with that. So if you're interested in getting that, please scan that and download it. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Caleb, do you want to kind of speak to the things we're going to do in the future here?
Yeah. Here's the thing. When it comes to the ebook, you're going to want to download it regardless, because if you're doing any kind of social selling on LinkedIn, or you're trying to figure out where to begin, this is the best way for you to, and it's a free resource. Why wouldn't you scan it? Why wouldn't you click on the link and use a free resource out of things that we've battle tested over 5 years, right? We've done all of the work for you in that sense. And so if you're really trying to increase that reply rate and you're trying to increase the conversations that you're having on LinkedIn without spending hours and hours on, crafting all of these like automated templated messages and all these different things, we've built out a template that is not only customizable, right, but you can build upon it yourself to even increase your deliverability and replies. So if you're trying to increase your replies and actually start making quality connections here on LinkedIn that bring your prospect to the consensus that they want to talk to you, at least about things outside of business, referrals, or business in general. Like if you want to increase your replies, download the ebook. It's not a matter of if you want to. It's like if you want to meet that goal, if you want to book more meetings and you want to get more replies on this platform, scan the QR code, get our free ebook, and it's going to, I promise you, it is going to increase your reply rate, which ultimately is going to help you close more deals. The second thing that we are working on is we're going to create a workshop. And so at the end of these webinars, we're going to build out a couple of new webinars as well. But we're going to have a workshop where you're actually going to be able to have one-on-one time with us to learn all these tactics that we're talking about. We're talking about how to social sell on LinkedIn, but we haven't gone into the granular details on how to be successful. And we have templates and we have books, and we've got all these different things that are going to teach you how to do it. But if you're anything like me, I need one-on-one time and somebody to show me how to actually implement these types of strategies. And so we're going to give you the ability, we're going to actually take our time and allow you an exclusive time to have a conversation with us and learn how to do how to use these strategies successfully. And we're going to take that time and go in depth on how to do that in a very intimate basis. Every single time, it's really going to be like the first 10 people that are able to click the link. We're going to make it very exclusive so that we have enough time and one-on-one time with you. But this type of community that we're building, we really want to give you the ability to take your lead generation to the next level outside of just having to sit here and watch us talk for an hour about these things. You're actually going to get some actionable takeaways, but it all starts with downloading this ebook so that you can get that information accessible to you. So if you're trying to increase your reply rate and you're trying to build a community and learn how to properly generate leads here on LinkedIn, then you're going to want to scan that ebook. And that's about all I have to say about that. But we've got some exciting things coming in the future. And if you want to be a part of that and get early access, scan that QR code.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Thank you so much, Caleb. All right, so as it says on the screen, put any of the questions you guys have down below. In the meantime, while you guys are loading up your questions, how well would you guys say you're using LinkedIn? I want to ask you all, if you spend, the entire hour here with us, thank you so much for staying here. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll take a moment to see where everyone lands. Again, don't be embarrassed. Just be honest. So the most important thing is that you're honest about it. You want to be honest with yourself, right? First and foremost. So we need to start by building this understanding and abilities. And the best way you can do that is by learning. How can you learn? Get in the workshop. We'll show you exactly what to do. This is also an excellent time for you to ask any questions as we wrap up. Just like I said, it's on the screen. Maybe some things we didn't cover you were hoping we would. If you have any more questions, I am more than happy to answer them, or Caleb. My email and phone number is up on the screen. I'll be putting Caleb's email in the chat. Also, I'll put it up here on the screen. This is Caleb's email. If you have any questions, please put them in chat. I think I see one I'm going to use here.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah, you scan that QR code up. All right. Caleb, you going to answer this question here? It says, do you teach all your clients how to social sell? And I'm going to put Caleb's email also in the chat.
Also in the chat? What do you mean?
I'm in the YouTube chat. I'm putting your email, just so people can copy and paste if they want to reach out to you.
Sounds good. Okay, so to answer your question, do I teach all my clients how to social sell? Yes, and that's the basic foundation for all the consulting work that we do for our clients. Many people come to us because they're struggling with generating leads in general, and they've seen all the case studies and successes we've had for the brands that we've worked with, and so we're in a great opportunity to be able to help them scale. But part of consulting is sometimes you have to tell people the hard things, and I'll have clients that come to me that like they don't even have a profile picture. I mean, they don't even know where to begin. They started their business, they're like 6 months in, they're super discouraged. They haven't even gotten a client yet, or maybe they have one or two based off of referral. And I come to learn that they're actually really good at what they do. They just don't know how to show it. And so when I teach people how to social sell, it all starts with kind of similar to like if you talk to any other marketing firm about selling a product. Like it all starts with your Launchpad website or your Launchpad profile, right? And so when I consult with people, it all starts with a like an audit, if you will. So I'll audit their profile, the content that they're posting, their website, and all these different things. And I'll say, here, listen, like before we're going to even work on social selling, we need to make sure we're communicating to your customers and your clients that you want, that you are a thought leader, and try to communicate that in a way that's fun and exciting without just being super self-promotional at the same time. And so, yes, we teach all of our clients how to social sell. Some clients are better than others. Some people have been doing it for years and they're just trying to learn how to automate a lot of their processes or provide value offside the platform and get people involved by using LinkedIn to then leave the platform to then have actual quality business conversations. And some people are just starting out and they just need some basic consulting work. So we teach everybody how to social sell no matter where they are in the process.
Yeah. Thank you, Caleb, for heading that one. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everyone who has been here. It's been about an hour and 6 minutes. We've been talking the entire time, talking y'all's heads off. I appreciate anyone who stuck around. If you have any questions that were not answered in the chat, please feel free to reach out to either me or Caleb. Our emails are both up on screen. Reach out to us, ask us any questions. We'd be more than happy to also schedule some time with you. Also, scan the QR code. It is super important to read that book. I spent a lot of time working on it to LinkedIn, but it has a lot of valuable information that'll go beyond that. But it is mainly geared for LinkedIn. So with that being said,
it will save your life for replies. If you want replies, you want to sell on LinkedIn. I'm not going to talk like a car salesman, but I'm telling you, we've battle tested 5,000 different scripts. Do you want to do that? I don't think you do. So if you want something that's going to actually teach you how to take your social selling to the next level and cold reach out to your prospects, because we all know you don't want to cold call anymore. So I'm telling you, this is going to save your life when it comes to generating replies. So scan the QR code. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So everyone who has been here, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. I love you all. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either me or Caleb. We'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you, set up a one-on-one meeting, whatever the next steps look like. All right. Again, email us if you have any questions. Thank you so much, Caleb, for joining us here today. With the rest of you, thank you as well for joining. If you liked what was said today, feel free to reach out. I am more than happy to keep the conversation going in a one-on-one. It'll be a wonderful week, guys.